Morning everybody, it's Dan with Pain For You, and as you can see, what a difference a couple of mornings make. My previous videos were all dark and gloomy and foggy, and today the skies are clear. I've got a beautiful sunrise peeking through the trees back there, and so I akin this to a shift in perspective, right? We can go from that dark and gloomy and foggy that was here for the previous couple of videos to the sun shining, you know, peeking over the horizon. It's early, it's a chilly March 1st, it's Saturday morning, and I just woke up and I really wanted to get out here and talk to you guys and gals. Today's topic is going to be based on a lot of comments that I get, and it's kind of about the pain flare and why does that happen. But I think I want to call this video danger versus safety. And so I've had a number of conversations this week, and people will say I started to feel better and then whammo, or my pain was gone completely and then whammo. And they are completely floored emotionally by the fact that I was doing so well. How come this came back? It came back as hard as it ever was, and now I'm back to square one, and it's really frustrating. I've been through those, you know, feeling better, pain flares, and returning probably hundreds of times over the 13 years that I was dealing with my challenges. And so I get it. I totally understand how disappointing that can be, how depressing that can be, and how frustrating it can be, because we feel like I finally got it, you know, I'm feeling so much better, and then sometimes without even realizing why, the pain comes roaring back, or the symptoms come roaring back, and you know, it's sometimes hard to figure out why, and then we go into investigation mode. And what happened? What emotion was it? What situation was it? What did I think? And we can really become hyper focused on figuring it out. And I will say, sometimes we overanalyze and we try to overfigure it out, and that only leads to more pressure and frustration, because oftentimes it's not clear exactly what triggered it. And so, you know, a couple of cases where people feeling pretty good and resuming some physical activity, they didn't necessarily hurt during the resumption of that physical activity, but then like later the pain started coming back, or then it hit them hard. And so I will suggest this: the brain's perception of something dangerous happening or going on is what will create a flare or a spike in the pain. Now look, we know the purpose of the pain is to distract us from the emotions with something physical like pain, right? Divert our attention from the emotions to something physical like pain. That's the purpose, and that's why we get symptoms to begin with. Now, I will say that once these symptoms have taken hold and have been around for a while, the brain and the pain or symptoms are literally just there to keep us safe, right? There's a Lorimer Moseley, a pain scientist from Australia, and he put on a very interesting presentation where he spoke about the severity of pain will absolutely correlate to the brain's perceived need to protect you from something. And I've explained a couple of times this week in the Facebook and YouTube comments that yes, the initial reason for the pain was emotions, to protect us from these overwhelming, scary, dangerous emotions that don't fit with our self-image. But once we've developed the pain, once we've taken on the mindset that I've got a bad back, or my body is frail and easily broken, or sitting hurts, or standing hurts, or doing this hurts, and these belief systems kind of develop through the experience of living with pain or symptoms for a while. And so the brain has now learned that there are certain things that are dangerous. And so every time you try to bend over, the brain goes, danger! and it spikes the pain when you bend. And then it just reinforces the belief that bending over hurts and is dangerous, right? And if you've had any amount of what I call medicalization, where the doctors have basically convinced you that you're all messed up and doing certain things, bend at the waist, or no, bend with your knees, not at the waist, and don't lift things too heavy, and people have been told don't carry anything heavier in a briefcase, right? Which is ridiculous. Our bodies are much stronger than that. So we develop these belief systems, and we accept that certain things are dangerous. And look, I will tell you, none of these things are dangerous. It's just that we've learned that they are through experience. You have problems sitting a couple of times, you're going to develop this belief, and it is based on past experience, but you're going to develop a belief that sitting is dangerous, or standing is dangerous, or I can walk but I can't run, or I can actually jog but walking hurts. And there's all sorts of permutations. And what I'm getting to here is that if the brain perceives the need to protect you, your symptoms will rise and flare. And it's particularly frustrating. The lighting is getting weird. It's particularly frustrating because we can be doing so well, and all of a sudden, seemingly out of nowhere, the pain comes back. Now, this perceived danger can be movement. It can be a social situation that's upcoming or one that just happened. It can be our own thinking. It can be our emotions. So anything that the brain perceives as dangerous, it will respond by saying, here's some pain. I have to protect you from damaging or hurting yourself. And so if you're freaking out about a social situation because you haven't been too engaged in the outside world and you're worried about that, the brain may increase your symptoms to protect you from going into that dangerous social situation, right? And even our own thinking can absolutely create some of this feeling of danger, right? You're laying in bed, you don't hurt, but then you have these thoughts, these anxious thoughts that say, oh boy, here we go again. Today's going to be awful. Yesterday was awful. And the brain listens and responds in kind with the pain to say, this day's going to be dangerous because you just were thinking that it's going to be awful. And the pain increases accordingly. So this is my understanding and perception of how this stuff works. And look, I know we've got a desire to kind of figure this stuff out. But just understand, if your pain or symptoms are flaring, to me, it usually means the brain is sensing or perceiving some kind of dangerous something, right? Thoughts, emotions, social situations, physical movements, right? And sometimes we can get ourselves pretty excited and dive back into the physical movements, and the brain basically goes, don't do that again. Here's some pain, to convince you not to go running again or not to do whatever again. So it's a simple concept, but one that I think escapes many of us because we don't always correlate this danger to symptoms. And I really want to drive that point home, because sometimes it's not about the emotions. It often is to begin with, and it often is even once you've been in it a long time. But it can also be the brain's desire or need to protect you from moving a certain way that you have previously learned has caused pain, like sitting or standing or laying down on your left side. I can lay on my right side but not my left because I've got shoulder and neck pain or whatever. So again, I hope this clarifies some things for you. And instead of trying to overanalyze and try to figure out exactly what thought you had so you never do that thought again, or that whatever emotion you felt so you don't feel that emotion again, just stick to the fundamentals. Feel your emotions, soothe yourself, remind yourself you're okay, get the mindset right. And anytime there's a pain flare, I will tell you, the more severely you react with freak out and fear and dismay and, oh my God, I can't believe this, I was so good, right? The harsher your reaction to it, it's likely the longer that pain flare will stick around. So the more you can take the mindset and just acknowledge, okay, something must have triggered the brain to think something was dangerous. I don't need to figure out exactly what that was, but just understand, I'm safe. Look around. I'm truly safe. I'm good. I got this. Soothe yourself. Turn your nervous system down a little bit. Grab that dial and turn it down. And realize that's all that's going on. It's not a complicated process. It's just the brain trying to protect you. And, you know, this Lorimer Moseley in this pain talk, I'll see if I can link it below. If I forget to, somebody please comment and remind me to link it below in a comment. But what he suggested was, let's say you break an ankle. That hurts. And then if you take another step on it, the pain spikes more because the brain says, I need to protect you from further tissue damage. But the brain doesn't understand the difference between a real broken leg or the perception that bending over is dangerous. And so it responds accordingly, and it responds in a very similar way to a true injury and the need to protect you from further tissue damage by utilizing a broken leg or broken arm. And so the pain science is interesting. Everything about what Lorimer Moseley talks about in his presentation I agree with, except his prognosis at the end that says it takes a long time to fix this. And I will tell you with certainty that when people kind of get and understand these concepts, no matter how long you've had the pain, it's not going to take you that much longer to get out of it. Once you truly understand how the pain works, what its purpose is, the fact that you're okay, you're not broken, we can get out of pain and eliminate symptoms extremely fast. And I've seen it over and over and over again. So don't convince yourself that this is going to take a really long time to heal. Again, there's nothing to heal. So if you're having a pain or symptom spike, just realize the brain probably perceived some danger and simply elevated the pain to either keep you distracted or protect you from something it believed was dangerous. So I hope this was insightful for you. This was something that I've really started noticing and figuring out over the past several weeks as I continue to study this stuff and interact with the community, and I love it. I will probably, the Pain For You group, by the time this video posts, will probably have just hit 1,500 wonderful, amazing, strong and brave, challenging, or, you know, champions, right? You guys are awesome, amazing. And I love the fact that this community is growing and that people are getting better and learning and their fear is dropping. And so thank you for all your attention and love and support. And hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, please like it. If you know somebody who can benefit by it, share it. You probably have some friends that could really use this type of information. If you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe button and then the bell icon to get notified. And you know, if you'd like to be notified of you know, my book, go to painforyou.com, look for the book menu item and sign up for the book notification, and I'll keep you up to date as that progresses and gets released. So love you guys and gals. We will talk to you soon. Thanks.